Hello, everybody, and welcome into Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. Coming to you from the Sports Interaction Studio, I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And today, guys, we've got, guess what? More Kyle Tucker updates coming to you. But this one is a little bit different. This was after the Kazuma Okamoto presser that happened yesterday. You had Ross Atkins coming out talking about a few things. And then you also had our good friend, Mitch Bannon, shout out to that guy over there, with a big update that made Jays fans go, oh, shit, are things happening? Are things starting to move? We'll discuss that in just a moment. Before we do, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Also hit that hype button if you're able to. It helps out small creators like ourselves out. How does it feel, Nick, that we're talking about Kyle Tucker yet again? Here we are on January 7th. It probably feels pretty redundant, but also it is kind of the only thing that's going on right now, right?
We're waiting on that domino, man, and we've been waiting on that domino, and it just feels as if the market for him has been so slow in developing, and it's like we're just going at a snail's pace. So I understand the frustration. I am frustrated about all of this right now. I do wish that we could come to a head, but I suppose, on the flip side of things, the second that Tucker actually signs with somebody, whether it be Toronto or somebody else, it's just going to be completely dead up until spring training, right? Like once these guys start leaving the board, Bo, Tucker, Bregman, once they're officially gone, the only thing we have left to look forward to is spring training and everything like that. So at the very least, we get to still talk some ball right here. Now, the update on Tucker, according to Mitch Bannon, he came out and he said that Toronto is getting more aggressive. In fact, what it was that he said exactly.
Although league sources said the Jays have increased their efforts to recruit Tucker, who remains a roster fit after signing Japanese slugger Kazuma Okamoto, a reunion with Bichette appears increasingly unlikely. So that was the entire sentence.
Right.
You can make a whole podcast about that whole Bo Bichette conversation. Kind of feels unlikely with Okamoto on the team, hogging a little bit of that third base bag, moving Ernie over. But the big takeaway here is the fact that the Jays have increased their efforts to recruit Tucker. We kind of pondered over that a little bit before we hit record. What exactly does that mean? I don't know. Is it more phone calls? Is it more meetings? Is it we increased our offer? Whatever it might be, that's apparently the report via Mitch.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, I love Mitch. I love him to death. But yeah, like, what are the actual details of this? Okay, like, What is it? Yeah, what does it entail to increase your efforts? How does that look? Were they not really having any efforts before? Like, they were, from my understanding of things, like, they were touring him, they were talking with him. Are we just talking with him more now?
Were they on Christmas vacation and then they had to deal with Kazuma Okamoto's whole thing, and now they're like, okay, now we can really focus on Tucker, maybe, I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, I do wonder, the exact details and just the overall mechanics of how this whole thing works, right? So it's great to hear. It's like, oh yeah, he's interested in us, we're interested in him. They're increasing our efforts. What does that actually look like? So it does give me just a little bit of pause there, but I guess the good news is here, according to Mitch Bannon, Toronto is still very much in play for Tucker's market. And that's interesting because it kind of contradicts a little bit, not really contradicts, but kind of contradicts a little bit from what Ross Atkins said when he was introducing and talking about Kazuma Okamoto. He came out and he said this: additions at this point will cut away at playing time from other major league players, so that will be a factor moving forward. He did also say that they are still open to adding things. They have the support of the ownership, so they're still looking at making additions. They're still looking to do that whole thing. However, he added that bringing anyone in at this point is going to cut away. And when you hear that, it just feels like he's leaving the door certainly open for them to be done.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is a classic Ross Atkins answer. It's we're taking one side of the outcome and the other side of the outcome. We're smashing it into one.
Both of these.
We could do both of these things. And yes, obviously he's always going to be open to more opportunities. And I do lean in the camp that they are still actively looking to add Kyle Tucker. This is the World Series window, and we've been hearing a lot in this offseason that he has the support of Edward Rogers, which he does mention in that presser. Edward Rogers wants to get a ring in Toronto. He desperately wants that, and you've been seeing it with the spending power right now. So yeah, there is still an opportunity for us to get Kyle Tucker that is well within the playing cards, but he does bring up a good point that makes us ponder a little bit. Let's discuss this right now. It might take away some playing time from major league players.
It not might. It will, actually.
Yeah. I'm assuming everyone's fully healthy, of course.
Walking into the season, this is what the roster looks like right now. We've been bringing this up consistently, but now that they have Kazuma slotted in there, and now we can do our imagination work right here and put Kyle Tucker in there, you can get a pretty clear picture as to who is going to be leaving. So as it stands right now, Barger, Santander, and then Dalton Varsho are all slotted in at the outfield spots. Now, Varsho has got to be staying put just simply because the majority of the value that you're getting from him is having him play his respective position. Yeah. So you're going to want to keep him there in the field. But Barger and Santander, I mean, at the end of the day, I like both of those guys. I like Kyle Tucker better than both of those guys. So I think that both of them could lose some significant playing time. I also think that with Kazuma being a utility player, that's how he's being introduced. And he said that he's totally okay with that. That also leads me to believe that he could be riding the bench maybe more than people would have liked to see if, of course, they bring in Kyle Tucker and if, of course, everybody's healthy.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, when you hear that, like, oh, Addison Barger getting cut from playing time, some people might rejoice hearing Santander, but that's still a guy you brought in to hit 30 to 40 home runs for you. So you want to see what he can do in a fully healthy season. And then, yeah, you just signed Kazuma Okamoto, you know, the big oak. Like, you just got that guy over here. You want to see what he could do. But again, this is a fully healthy roster situation. And if you are a baseball fan for quite a long time, you'll know that it's never a fully healthy roster situation ever in 162 games of baseball over a course of 6 months. So you know that somebody will get injured. The one insurance, if you bring in Kyle Tucker and you have one of these guys riding the bench every 2 or 3 games, then you could, if one guy gets injured, well, boom, you could slot him right into an everyday playing role, and it's almost like you didn't really lose a lot of value. And in a World Series run year, that's really crucial right there, to have that depth in that lineup, so that when you do face those injuries that are inevitable, that can kill a season for any baseball team, you're going to be okay to finish 162 and be ready for a lot of options come playoff time.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, like, whether it be Barger, whether it be Santander, and whether it be Okamoto, assuming he can, acclimatize himself to MLB, whoever rides the bench would immediately be arguably the best bench bat in all baseball.
Pitch hitting too. That's the situation.
Like, imagine if Anthony Santander, who did hit 44 home runs, not last year, but the season before that, imagine he comes off the bench and pinch hits in a big moment. It's like, okay, like, you don't get that power from a bench bat ever. Like, literally ever. You just never, ever see that. And so if they did have that luxury, that could be kind of enticing. Now, of course, this also would mean that somebody would have to leave the roster entirely and go to AAA. And we were doing our detective work right here. And I think probably, and I hate to say it, the most likely option here would be Davis Schneider. And the reason is he's got 2 options to his name. Now, you also brought up Nathan Lucas because he's just primary outfield, and that could also make sense. But the 2 options of Davis Schneider, to me anyway, stand out as being definitely a tantalizing option for Toronto to send him down, because then you'd still have the luxury of bringing him back up again and sending him back down if you so wanted to.
Yeah, because realistically, you are going to have a starting infield every day. Like, Ernie Clement's starting every single day in 2026. Same with Andres Gimenez because of the defensive ability. And then one of Okamoto and Addison Barger are going to be at third base. And of course, the franchise guy, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first, and Captain Kirk in the, behind the dish. So it feels like you don't need to have defensive replacements every single day. Whereas in the outfield, you've got, Santander, who has injury history, right? And same with Dalton Varsho, that might need guys to get him off their feet a little bit off of that turf. And then, of course, George Springer's in the DH spot. Maybe he plays a couple of games out there in the outfield. But you got some aging guys with injury histories out there that you want to have a little bit more depth in the outfield spot. So you could rock with the infield that you got. And then if there is an injury, then you could bring up David Schneider at some other point and give a little bit more depth in that infield spot.
I could also believe that Nathan Lucas could be that guy as well. He doesn't have 2 options. He's got 1. So they could still make that move. And then, to your point about having, tons of outfield, I guess that would make that a little bit easier, right? You don't have as much outfield. You have that additional infielder and Dave Schneider. So if they were worried about that, they could do it. But likely, it would be one of those 2 guys that would just completely go to AAA, which, again, I mean, that sucks, because Nathan Lucas was awesome for us. David Schneider has been awesome for us. But it's just one of those situations where you have to imagine in a full 162, you're going to see those guys again at some point because there is going to be injuries and they will come up. So I suppose that this is a problem for Toronto taking playing time away if it's a perfect, incredible world where everyone is healthy. And if that's the perfect, incredible world, I'm sorry, David Schneider, I'm sorry, Nathan Lucas, like you guys are just not going to get it. But that's never, ever, ever going to happen. So I suppose in that regard, yes, you would be taking playing time away, but would you really? Because eventually somebody's going to get hurt.
Look, I mean, David Schneider didn't have that many at-bats last year anyways. You know, Nathan Lucas, he did get a decent amount of at-bats near the end, but he didn't have a full 162. There is going to be playing time opportunities for these guys. So with that being said, going back towards what, you know, Mitch Bannon saying with increased efforts, like I could believe it because I think Ross Atkins, if we could sit here and talk about this, Ross Atkins, Mark Brown, and that entire organization knows there is going to be injuries. They know this is the World Series year and they're going to, if they have the opportunity, get a guy, a premium guy like Kyle Tucker over here to add to the depth of that lineup and increase their chances of winning the World Series. It's that plain and simple. Yes, it's going to cut away from playing time as of right now, but there is going to be opportunities. I don't think anybody on that roster is going to complain about losing 100 at-bats if it means they're going back to the World Series.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just the sacrifice that I think as a team, everybody would have to make. In conclusion, folks, Toronto still in on the Kyle Tucker conversation. What does it mean for them to increase their efforts? If you guys have any ideas, let us know in the comments down below, because I do wonder exactly the details of all of that. And, you know, you hear all of these reports where it's like, oh, he's interested and they're increasing their efforts and they're getting aggressive. What does that look like? Like, I do want to know what that is. Also, sidebar, for those who care, Kyle Tucker spotted with George Springer at a TGL game yesterday. That's crazy stuff. They're obviously homies from Houston, but it is good to know that he is regularly engaging with current Toronto Blue Jay players. And I have to imagine that George Springer certainly isn't criticizing Toronto at this point, but in fact would likely be selling him on it when he has the opportunity.
I mean, they obviously got to talk about it at some point.
At some point.
Probably even if as light as a joke, you know, at some point. So we'll see how it happens, but we've got some time left, guys. I believe we have like 39-ish days until catchers and pitchers reporting. So wow. Get ready, guys. Guys, if you like this podcast, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. Also consider to hit that hype button if you're able to. It's only $4 a month to become a YouTube member. Shout out, thank you to all of our current YouTube members. You guys are fantastic.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as always, go Jays, go!